Welcome. This is the third episode of the Wise-Mind Fireside Chats, Wi-Fi chats, and I'm joined by Melanie, Julian, Erika, and Gabby. This is going to be like one of those famous recordings of Elvis that they pick up in about 50 years' time, and it will be a case of, wow, I wish I'd been there when that conversation happened. At least that's how it's going to go in my mind. We've been talking about passion and purpose for the last however long, and we decided that we're going to capture some of our thoughts and observations now on video. So knowing that she's not somebody who is prepared to chase people's asses down, I'm going to come straight to Erika and ask her to talk about passion and purpose and what those things mean to her. Hi, Erika.
Hello, thank you. Passion and purpose. So it's what drives you, right? It's when I know that I've hit my passion when I'm feeling like I'm having an outer body sort of experience and not really sure where the words are coming from, right? There's no thought behind it. It's sort of just self-directed and clear. It feels good. It just feels very in alignment with myself. And it's just knowing that I'm on the path of something that I can see in the future being brought to life. And yeah, I don't like chasing people. So that's for the record.
So you bring in a few things there, Sir Ken Robinson, the element, the point of being in flow and in alignment. And of course, in psychology, we talk about people having peak experiences where they almost do have an out-of-body experience. So I'm going to come to you, Melanie. Any experience of peak experiences being completely in an alignment and in flow?
Yeah, first of all, Ali, I'd like to say that for me, passion is something that's kind of infectious. Like when you hear somebody or you see somebody that's expressing something with that, like with Erika here, she's like so passionate, and I can feed off of that because you kind of you then kind of start getting passionate as well. So I think, yeah, passion is something that's very infectious, and I think sometimes that's that kind of little bit of motivation we need when we see somebody else talking passionately, is for that motivation for us to connect with our passion. So I think, yeah, that's how I would see passion for me.
And have you found a place where you reach peak experiences, or you're very much in flow?
Yeah, I mean, my passion is trauma. That's the area that I work in. I'm a trauma survivor, so it's kind of a very personal thing for me as well. And getting that message out there and helping people understand more about trauma is something that I'm very passionate about. But I think that's from a work angle. There's so many things I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about going to the beach. I'm passionate about my kids and my cat. Passions, it's all around us. It's not, I don't think anybody's just passionate about one thing. I think the more things that we have in our life that we can be passionate about, the more fulfilling our life is. And also, passion is also that connection as well. When you find somebody that has the same passions as you, you build a stronger connection and a relationship often with those people. So I think that's important as well, to really, the people that you have around you, is really understand what their passions are, and where there are similarities, because I think that can help strengthen relationships. And oftentimes we don't realize what people's passions are. It's not something we always talk. What are you really passionate about? But it's good to have those conversations to get to know people a little bit better and build stronger relationships.
Absolutely. And we see shared passion all the time in things around us, don't we? You only have to look at a football or rugby tournament or any big sporting event. Podcasts, we're creating a podcast. The world seems to be passionately enthralled with them. Julian, you're a man who's followed passions to quite large successes in a number of different areas. Perhaps you'd give us your views.
Yeah, sure. For me, passion and purpose is kind of my compass when I have to make decision. It's like, you know, a purpose would be like north-south, and passion, and the other one would be like east-west, you know, like that help me to for the direction, because like passion is something that is burning when you have it, or when you get repelled when you don't have it. Purpose the same kind of, you know. It's not opposite. That's why I'm using like the metaphor of a compass, because it goes together, you know, like, and there is a sweet spot between passion and purpose, because if it's only when you have a strong purpose, even if you're not passionate about it, because the purpose is strong, you're gonna do it. You don't feel like it, but you're still gonna do it. And when the passion is strong, even if you don't have a purpose for it, you're still like gonna go. You don't know why, but you're still gonna do it, you know. So it's gonna start to be like an intoxicating passion, or like burning desire, kind of. So yeah, I think there's a sweet spot between the two, and I try to keep on that sweet spot.
That makes me think of Cartesian coordinates, you know, where you work around to those things that draw you into a particular direction within that sphere. Gabby, what about you?
For me, I think the big realization about passion in my life was when I got into my 50s, because I got into a point in my life where I stopped following my passions. And I think this is really, really important. As Julien talked about, a compass, right? When you get up every morning, you track yourself out of bed because you have to go to this job you actually don't like. You may like it 20 years ago, but things have changed, right? And everything is just, you know, it feels dead. It feels like a chore. It feels like I have to. Then the question is, where has the passion gone? Did I ever have it? And what actually is my passion? Because it's something which is not common to ask ourselves. As Melanie pointed out, we don't really ask ourselves, what am I actually passionate about? We just get into a routine, into a rut. And for me, the indicator if I follow my passion or not is motivation. Because the minute I don't have to motivate myself, I know I do something I'm passionate about, and it's easy. Right? In my old job, if somebody said to me, I have to get up at 4 o'clock and do 12 hours, I would have like, what? I would have dreaded that for like a week. If somebody says to me now what I'm doing, I would get up at 4 o'clock and go there and talk to these people about this. I'm going like, oh yeah, where are we going? When are we going, right? There's no problem getting up and doing it. And I think that's for me the indicator, is because motivation is not something we can chase, right? It's not that we can go and try and become motivated. It doesn't work. We're automatically motivated when we're doing something we're passionate about.
That reminds me of your comment about authenticity. You know, authenticity is something that people get from us, but it actually kind of sits with them. You know, you can't phone me and say, I want you to turn up on Tuesday and be authentic. I will turn up and be what I am, and the people will decide whether I'm authentic. So motivation sounds like it's inherent. We can kind of stumble over it at different points in our lives. But we have all worked within the coaching arena to greater or lesser degree. And something that I know I've had come up time and time again is, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my passion is. So what experience have you of bringing people to their passion or purpose? And is it even something that we can ferret out for other people? Or do you think that it's something that is entirely dependent on them reaching it at some point? And I'm going to go in roughly the same order. So I'll start with you, Erika.
So anytime that I have had the opportunity to spot somebody's passion for them, right? It usually comes in if it's in a coaching relationship or not even. It's less involved in the conversation and more if you're paying really close attention to watching somebody, you can tell when somebody has hit their passion. They get animated, their face changes, their eyes light up, their whole, and everything about them energetically changes. And as a coach or a friend or anybody, I feel it's my job to make sure they're aware of that and reflect it back to them. Like, did you even notice how your energy lifted right now when you were talking about that? Tell me more. How does that make you feel? Like, what is it about that? Those are ways that when I'm witnessing somebody else, can reflect back when I'm in the presence of passion. And I've had it reflected back to me, right? Like, oh, you're so passionate. And then it makes you pause a minute, like, oh, what was I just talking about? That they sense that in me. Maybe that's a something I should follow.
Thank you. Melanie.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with what Erika is saying. I think you can see when somebody's connected to that area they're passionate with, just from that change in body language, the way they're speaking. So yeah, I would agree with that. And I think for me, I think we're so used to talking about the negatives. And often in coaching, we'll hear again and again what's wrong, what we don't like, what's not going well, and it's just that kind of turning it around. And people are not used to that. They're not used to saying, oh, what's good and what's going well and what they like. They're so used to looking at the negative. So it's really just trying to change that perspective, get them to look at things through a different lens. And I think the way that we communicate with them as well is very important. So I need to be kind of enthusiastic when I'm kind of asking these questions. If I'm kind of got with a list of questions and kind of like ticking them off and it's all serious, and well, no, what is your passion? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes you feel alive? We need to be passionate with our clients, I think, when we're broaching these subjects and asking these questions with them.
Almost like passion's contagious, as you mentioned earlier. Julien.
Yeah, to come back on why people doesn't know what their passion are, I think there's like many times there's a struggle in front of them or around them somewhere, like they feel pressure, they feel blocked in their life, and so they are blinded to their passions. They're not able to connect to them. Maybe like there is something related with the hierarchy of needs or something, you don't access it, kind of. That's my thought about that. And especially when it comes to motivation, because when you start feeling I have to motivate myself, I mean, that's, for me, it's a big red flag. You're on the wrong way. You're on the wrong path. You have to push yourself, like, no.
Yeah, for sure. And just to pick up on something Julien said there, he's talking about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we'll drop a link for something on that into the resources for the end of the chat. Gabby, what about you, helping people find it?
Sometimes I think when you talk to people, you just realize they started doing something in their 20s and then they got into it and then they fell into a routine, and then all the other life issues took over. Like, they get overwhelmed, the parents are suddenly old, they're bringing up kids, they have loads of other things to do, and they're so busy all day long just chasing whatever they feel they have to do, that they kind of forget why they started a job in the first place, or why they had children in the first place, or they forget the whys. And who knows me, I always talking about the why are we doing the things we do? What's the point? What's behind it? Why did we start it 20 years ago? Is it still valid? Is our why still valid, or has my life changed? And sometimes we're just too busy to actually sit back and actually reflect on it. So for me, it always starts, even with the client, to actually just sit back and reflect, where am I at right now in this moment of time? What's happening? And what's really helpful is going back to our values. We all have a set of values, and values can change in life. we usually have about 5 which are really so important to us. They stay with us all the time, but sometimes the priority changes. So we might be freedom loving and love independence, but then, you know, we maybe get into our 30s and we want more security and kids. And that's our passion then. We marry, we have children, you know, the children get older, they don't need us anymore so much. And then something is niggling us and we don't know why. And what's knocking on the door is our core value of freedom and independence, right? But we don't realize that the caring part for the family drops down because they're now independent, and we want to really, our passion really is to maybe go traveling again and go a bit mad, but we don't do it because we're stuck in that job and we're stuck with the daily routines and we don't even recognize it. And that's where it always is a good point to start to actually see, has life changed? Where am I at now? Where are my priorities and what passions are new? Because they change. And sometimes I think we don't recognize that we and circumstances change all the time, and probably quicker than we think.
I think we will have a whole other conversation about the way we create traps for ourselves, and you can listen out for that one in another episode. But because it has come up in numerous conversations with you in the past, Gabby, and I know it's something that we must all have thought about, I am going to just go around and close this particular conversation with, what is your why? Why are you actually doing the things that you're doing? What's giving you the passion to do that? And this picks up on Simon Sinek's work and a lot of stuff that Gabby has been doing in her communication stuff. So, Erika, I saw you looking up to the ceiling. I don't know if you've got post-it notes there, but what is your why?
Well, I have post-it notes everywhere. That's a side note, but my why. I want to do something meaningful with my life. I have an infinite, a finite amount of time here walking this planet, this earth, and this timeline, and I want it to matter and make a difference somehow. So I am looking for meaning, impact, and autonomy in how I do all of that. That's my why.
Thank you. Melanie?
Yeah, I think for me, again, yeah, making a difference is a huge part of that, and it's making the world a better place. And that might sound like a huge, great big kind of thing, but even in the tiniest way, if I can make one person's day even this much better, then that, for me, that's my why. Just to and not in a working context, but in every person I meet during my day, if I can add something to their day, even if it's something very, very tiny, then for me that's enough.
Thank you. Julien?
Yeah, for me, it's about legacy kind of, and sharing ideas, because like, who remembers the name of your grandparents and their life, of your own family? Like, most of them we just don't know and we don't care really. So what's gonna be left of us like in 50 years, like not a lot. But what we can do, I think, what I can do is like to share ideas, broadcast them, and as Melanie said, if only one being get it, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and creating a better world can just apply to that space that's right in front of us, because if we reach enough people and we get enough people thinking, I'm going to help other people to make this world a little bit of a better place, that can spread like a smile. So, Gabby, I know you've given this a lot of thought. What's your why?
Oh, if you get me started, I can talk for 2 hours. But the basic why is actually creating community. I'm absolutely convinced that as societies, we're leading each other down. a wrong garden path, and we have forgotten what's really important to us. And I'm a strong believer that community is actually the answer to most of our issues, community and communication. And as soon we actually go back to those basic roots, we live better fulfilled lives, because it's all down to the quality of our connections. I know Kane Ramsey says it all the time, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Most people who come to me for coaching sessions, the main issue, the underlying main issue is loneliness. And it's not matter they can be married. It doesn't matter. It's loneliness. They're alone. They don't know how to go about it, and they feel lost. So community for me is my why. Build community so people have support and they find people they can talk to. And that's probably the main why.
Thanks, Gabby. The quality and caliber of our lives depends on the quality and the caliber of the people that we have in it. So I suggest to you, dear listener, that you have a look and see where people are bringing you joy and where you are spreading passion. Gabby, go ahead.
Before we leave, what's your why, Alec?
My why is pretty much the same as everybody else has said. It's a passionate belief that we as people are our own best resources at getting us out of the messes that we've found ourselves in. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at grief or trauma or loneliness, the solution to all of those things lies in that quality and caliber of the relationships. So my purpose, my passion, my goal is to help people live a better, more meaningful life from whatever their starting point happens to be. Because that exact moment that we become self-aware, fully self-aware and conscious of the impact of our own actions on the quality of our lives, we stand on top of a foundation of whatever past there was to start walking off into something else completely different. And that's the, yeah, maybe hopefully you heard a little bit of passion in there. So I encourage you to go out, find your passion, find your joy, spread some, take some back. This has been the third episode of the Wi-Fi chat. I hope you enjoyed it. You'll be able to find contact details for all of our guests in the channel at the end. Thank you and goodbye.